Tron Ares comes out swinging with tons of nostalgia, flashy action, a story about morality, and somehow ends up being a whole lot of nothing.
You to meet Ares. This is the most sophisticated security program ever written.
Ares is born as an emotionless program, and that never changes. Nothing ever installs in him. There's one moment where he looks up everything on Eve and suddenly feels inspired by her, but it's never earned. Which begs the question, why is he a good guy? Why does he care about being free? Why does he want the impermanent code? Why does he like the 80s? Most of these answers boil down to because he's supposed to, or, well, yeah, he's the good guy, so he has to be good. And that's a shame because this movie had the potential to be a Terminator 2, a program designed to complete a mission at all costs, forced to gain perspective through someone with real conviction. If Julian made him study the old grid to learn from it, could have explained his love for the 80s and his action hero persona. But you don't get your characters a foundation to grow on, you end up with someone who somehow has less personality than a mindless T-800. The lack of depth spreads to everyone else. Take Eve. We know she wants to carry her sister's legacy, but never why. It all comes down to, it's the right thing to do. And when you impose ideals onto characters instead of letting them form naturally, everything they face feels meaningless. The movie's only real salvation is the MacGuffin, a code that can bring anything from the grid into the real world permanently, and that's where Julian, the main villain, comes in. Julian's actually the most interesting character here. I have a theory. Whenever a story starts to fall apart, look to the villain, because at least the writers had to give them a reason to be bad. Julian's easy to understand, he's young, he just took over a company, he's desperate to prove himself, and in his ambition, he makes a massive deal with military contractors that he can't deliver on. So the story explores how far he will go to protect his pride, and through that, we actually get a fallen hero arc. Same goes for Athena. She was created by Julian, sees him as a god, and lives to serve him, giving him exactly what he wished for in the worst way. The issue? These well-written characters only take up about 20% of the movie, and because Ares and Eve are so flat, their emotional connections never land. It's a crabs in the bucket situation. No one can rise because everyone's dragging each other down. A good hero is only as strong as their villain, but in this case, it's the hero holding the villain back.
What?
There's way too much action, especially the driving scenes. It doesn't matter how cool, cinematic, or over the top a moment looks, if there's no emotional weight behind it, well, it's forgettable. It almost feels like a Blade Runner movie with how long and drawn out some shots are. Characters spend more time telling us who they are than actually showing it. Ares is the biggest problem here. Why does he even want to rebel? He's a program. He shouldn't have emotions. What makes him any different than the others, like Athena? And since Julian literally made him, why isn't he more like his creator? If the movie took time to explore questions like these, moments like Ares diving into the water with Eve could have meant something. Was that supposed to be rebirth for him, or was it just, hey cool, a jet ski in Tron? These moments never hit because we don't know what it means to Ares as a character, and that ends up being the theme. What is the point? It pulled at our nostalgia with references and Easter eggs, it looked cool, it had some fun fights, but none of it mattered, which is why I'm giving Tron Ares a 5 out of 10. Until next time, play nice.